This truth about God may be completely shocking, but several times in the Bible has God been described as jealous. Take for example the second commandment in Exodus 20 verse 5 concerning graven images. God said, "Thou shalt not bow down thyself unto them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God." But not only that, in fact, one of God's names is jealous. On the one hand, the Bible speaks of jealousy as sinful, for it is of the flesh. And we're told not to walk in it, as what Paul said in Romans 13 verse 13, "Let us walk becomingly, as in a day, not in reveling and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and jealousy." So how do we harmonize the seeming inconsistency? The word zealous in the Greek New Testament, where the word jealousy is derived, is translated and used in multiple ways. In the King James Version, zealous is translated as zeal, fervent, envy, envying, envyings, indignation, emulation, and jealousy. You will notice that its meaning varies from time to time, for it greatly depends upon the context, like how it was used. It could be used in a negative way that carries the idea of being envious, indignant, and ambitious, but could also be used in a positive way which bears the idea of being fervent and zealous. And quite surprising this may be, but jealousy is not necessarily sinful. In fact, the Bible clearly speaks of an acceptable form of jealousy that is not sinful. Paul wrote in 2 Corinthians 11 verse 2, "For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ." So there's both an acceptable and not acceptable kind of jealousy. One is godly and the other is of the flesh. God's jealousy should be understood in its proper context. It is never sinful but always godly, for it merely reflects God's nature of holiness and righteousness, and that there is no unrighteousness in Him. Furthermore, whenever God is described in the Bible as jealous, it is always in connection to worshiping false gods. What does it mean? God is jealous if His people worship other gods beside Him. A fitting analogy would be the attitude you manifest whenever you see your sweetheart or spouse flirting with another. Don't you have the right to feel jealous? I know that is not a perfect example to describe how God is jealous, but it at least helps us grasp the main point. We are God's people. We are His by creation and redemption, and that He is faithful and will remain faithful though we are not. It is then His right to feel jealous whenever He sees us unfaithful to Him.